guys, it's your girl Allie, or Allie Bug, and I thought it would be fun to have a story time while I'm folding clothes. I got up early to do my laundry this morning, and so I did that. And I was watching Sloan. I love Sloan, by the way. So awesome. He makes like the best in-depth like videos and podcasting, and I'm so into his podcast right now. I think I'm watching like the 4th or 5th one. But I was like, this gave me an idea to do story times. I do story times on my stream. It's been a while since I've done a like sit down with me story time. I'm trying to bring those back. I just don't have like the time. But I was like, you know what? Since I have a lifestyle channel and a gaming channel, might as well incorporate that. So here we are. So today's story time is gonna be from back in the days when I was a wild child, okay? And I used to party and get drunk and like sneak out and stuff. And so this is gonna be my very first time sneaking out. So it all started when I was, it's gonna sound kind of terrible, but like after my first time, and unfortunately my first time was not this magical unicorn rainbow moment with like the guy I love, blah blah blah. No bitch, unfortunately I was SA'd. It sucks, it happens, whatever. That could be a video for another time. I've never really actually sat down and described those instances because they are very hard to talk about. If I ever find the courage to really go in depth about them, I'll put out like a long form video of me just letting it all out. But I think that's gonna take some like therapy and some time to get to that place where I could just talk about it without having flashbacks or crying, or you know, my body reacts. You know, when I start thinking about it, I get cold, I get like goosebumps and stuff, and I just don't. I'm sure those of you that had that experience like understand what I'm talking about. So we're gonna skip past that. But this is what transitioned into such a wild like moment in my life. I was going out a lot. I think I was pretty sure I was like 14 or 13 turning 14. I was in 9th grade. I was in color guard, and I found like true happiness in color guard. Like I met the weirdest but the funniest and most down-to-earth people in band camp. And I know that's gonna sound so funny. Those of you that have watched American Pie, you already know where this is going. If you know, you know. If you were a band geek in high school, girl, you know. They were the freakiest little motherfuckers. Like there was I could tell y'all so many stories about what went down in band camp. Maybe we'll save that for another time. This is the first one, so we gotta pull the brakes. But I was in 9th grade, I was a freshman, and this was the summer before school starting, so I was literally like freshman. Like that fall I was going to be a freshman in high school, so this is still the summer before 2009. Yeah, kind of nuts. Like I don't know, I feel like the only reason why I was able to even get away with this shit was simply for the fact that my mom was just not perceptive. Like she didn't pick up on things like that. A normal parent that is involved with their child's life to that extent would pick up on the signs of the type of misbehavior and the crazy things that I was doing. But because she was an alcoholic and still is, she hasn't changed. Like she still drinks a lot, and I know she doesn't like to hear it. She hates for me to say it, for my grandma, but it is what it is. Like she's a functioning alcoholic. She has literally said it out her own mouth. So a lot of it does have to do with the fact that she didn't pay attention to that stuff. So I got away with a lot of it. I outsmarted her a lot because I already got to a point where I knew exactly what she was going to do when she'd fall asleep. Okay, I knew when was the green light to go sneak out and when wasn't. I knew when to be back at the house. Like it was just crazy. I had all this shit planned out and strategic. So the first time I snuck out, I was terrified. Y'all remember like being a teenager and you know you're about to do something bad or like you're not supposed to do, and you get that feeling like all of a sudden you gotta take a shit. Like I'm talking about that heavy nervousness, bro. I felt that shit. I was like, am I gonna really do this? Like I had so many voices in my head saying like, don't do this, but then the other voice was like, bitch, do it, like you deserve it, you behave in school, blah blah. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So a bunch of the other girls and a couple gay guys that I was best friends with at the time, rest in peace, one of them who was amazing, and I'm so sad that he died at such a young age, but he was an amazing person. And honestly, if he was still alive, he would have been one of the greatest dancers and color guard people that I've ever come across. I mean, he was so talented. And sorry to go on a tangent, but like this person was my best friend. And I just remember like how sad I was when I found out he passed. But so they hit me up and they're like, yo, you know, there's a party at so-and-so's house tonight. Like, are you down to come? Like, we'll pick you up. You just gotta sneak out, whatever. We'll pick you up down the street. And I was like, and I live right next to the skate park in the little town that I lived in. So they were like, yo, like, if you can make it halfway to the skate park, we'll meet you at the storage unit. It's like right there. So that was literally right by my house. Like, I lived on the corner house. So it was like maybe a hop, skip, and a jump for me to meet them. And the funny thing is when they arrived, they like blinked their headlights. So I knew it was them. And I was like, hey, I just gotta get out of the house. So I was like contemplating, do I go out the back sliding door? But then I was like, no, because my grandma's very perceptive when she's asleep. Like, she hears every little thing. So I was like, I'm not even gonna try to risk it. Plus that sliding door would like squeak. The front door would make noise. So I was like, I'm gonna go out the window. Here's the irony about the fucking windows in Florida. Like, not all windows, but some of the older houses have these stupid ass windows that are just super annoying and made it so hard to sneak out. So the way the window was set up was, it was like this, like at an angle, and you have to like turn this little lever, you know, you wind it frontward or backwards to open or close the windows. I forget what it's called, like what that type of window is called. But anywho, girl, I was a chunky girl before I got into high school. Like middle school into high school, I was super chunky. However, I was actually on the rise to losing weight. Like that summer, band camp summer camp was just intense workouts and running and being in the hot sun. I lost a lot of that weight. I lost a ton of weight. But when this was happening, I was still in the process of losing weight, so I was still like really chunky on the sides. Bitch, I tried to sneak out the window and my fucking fat ass got stuck in the window. Girl, in the window. And those of you that are gonna like be in the comments like, oh, you shouldn't use the word fat, I'm not calling anyone fat. I'm addressing my previous persons in that way, because that's how I saw myself. Some of y'all are nowadays, and like, bitches can't say shit without y'all calling them out and getting mad. Look, I don't address, you know, plus size women or plus size men or trans women or trans men or any type of gender. I don't care how you look. Everyone's beautiful. But I grew up back in the days. Like, it wasn't a big deal to say, oh, my fat ass. So, like, if you're going to be one of those people in the comments, fuck off already. I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm going to literally ignore you, because that's just how I'm addressing my old self. Because, hello, the cool kids at school, they weren't kind to my feelings. They weren't, you know, bitches that back then didn't give a fuck how you felt about being called fat. So, get over it. Anyways, I got stuck in the fucking window. And I was stuck for a good maybe 10 minutes, sweating, getting pissed off. I was like, I don't even want to go out anymore. I want to go back to my bed. Like, it was hilarious. I was just stuck in the window. Like, me just stuck halfway hanging out the window. And my friends had to literally get out the car and help. So while I'm fucking, you know, trying to suck in my fat, like I had this flubber just hanging out that was literally preventing me from getting out of the window. Also, y'all remember how jeans, like, even if you didn't have a big butt, like some jeans would have this weird little gap? That part got stuck also on the window. So I'm like fighting to like squirm and slither out the window, right? Trying to be like a cat and like move my bones so I can like slip right out. And I hear my mom get up and I'm like, shit, I'm caught. Girl, she got up to go take a shit and went right back to sleep. So I was like, okay, we're good. I waited a few minutes. It was silent. I'm like, okay. I heard her snoring. I was like, we're good. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna just suck it all in. So I like suck it all in and I on my face. Like, it hurts so bad. And I had just did my makeup, so I had to fix all that in the car. It was a hot mess. But girl, I'm gonna tell you something. Color Guard peeps, they stay having everything in their backpack. They had makeup wipes, they had perfume, they had anything I needed to like freshen up, you know, before the party. So we're on our way to this party. I fixed my face, fixed my hair, blah, blah, blah. And like, of course, my friends would come prepared. They had snacks. They had 2 blunts rolled. Like, we were smoking on the way to the party. Bruh, my homegirl had a bong in the car. Like, we were not fucking around. We were chilling, getting high as shit before the party. And then when we get there, we were met at the door with shots. And I literally barely remember that night, but I just remember my friend had a regular light in the living room, and like, it was one of them ceiling fans that had the 3 light bulbs. Well, she would take out the other 2 light bulbs, and she had one that was a black light. Oh my god, it was so trippy. The entire room was just dark. It was like club scene. Like, she was cool as fuck. She turned our apartment into a club. We were just vibing, smoking, chilling, vibing to good music. I had a great time. But then I realized what time it was. It was literally 4 a.m. and I was like, shit, we gotta get up in like 2 hours. So I was like, I need to go. So the one friend that she drank like a little bit, but she didn't drink a lot, she offered to drive me because she knew everybody at that party was fucked. And I was like, if my mom, you know, tries to break down the door, because I locked the door, like, and we had a joint closet, so if I locked the door, she could actually come in through the closet to my room. We shared a closet. And oh my gosh, you guys, I nearly shat myself because she texted me, but not saying like, where are you? She just texted me and was like, I guess she got up in the middle of the night and she didn't see that I was gone or anything like that. She just got up and was like, hey, remember, we got to get up earlier this morning because I have to stop so where before I take you to school. So I was like, deep sigh of relief, but in my mind I'm like, bruh, she's texting me, but we're literally right next to each other, like room to room. So that got me thinking she might know. So I was like panicking, like, we need to go. She hauls ass, okay, down the highway to take me home, and I get home maybe in like 15, 20 minutes. It was not long at all. I get home and I'm looking at the window and I'm like, fuck, it's still open. I just knew it was gonna be harder to go in versus come out, but I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I throw all my stuff like in my room, and what makes it worse is I don't get stuck going in. However, I was so drunk that like I gave up. Like, I was almost through the window and I just had to pull my legs like in, and I just start getting nauseous as shit and I vomit everywhere. I mean, all over my room. It was terrible. I have vomited everywhere, and on top of that shit, like, if y'all live in Florida, you know there's lizards everywhere, bro. A lizard was crawling on my back while I'm like vomiting, hanging from the window. So I was traumatized. I was so irritated. So as you guys can imagine, I have to get up in an hour and a half at this point, and I've got vomit anywhere. So I'm like, fuck it, like, I can just use the excuse that, you know, I wasn't feeling well, I was on my period or whatever, and I just had to think of an excuse super quickly. And so we actually were lucky enough to have washer dryers in the back patio. At this point, it's early fuck in the morning. I didn't want to make a lot of noise, but like, I had to. There was vomit everywhere. So I clean everything up, I take my sheets, I go wash them outside. My grandmother gets up to use the bathroom, but she didn't say anything about me washing stuff, which I thought she would, but she literally didn't. She just looked at me and was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, oh, you know, I got my periods, I got like blood on my sheets. And she's like, oh, okay, well, try to keep it down, you'll be quiet. And she goes back to sleep. I don't even think she was like fully awake. I think she was half asleep, but I asked her about it once and she like doesn't remember it. So but I clean everything, whatever, and then I'm like freaking out because the lizard that was on my back is in my room, and I'm like, fuck, my bed was by the window and I did not want that lizard in my bed, bruh. So I'm like panicking, you know, like making sure, looking around, the lizard's not there. You know, at this point it's been about, you know, 25 to 30 minutes because I obviously had to wash and dry my sheets. It doesn't smell like vomit in my room anymore because I had to like spray everything down. I put fabric softener sheets like in between where the mattress is and the fitted sheet that you put on a bed. And I was like trying so hard to make it smell good in the room because I didn't want the smell of vomit. I close the window, I lock it, and then I unlock my door, and you know, I'm sleeping, whatever, and like, I guess I only got like maybe a few minutes of sleep because then before you know it, excuse me, it's 5:30, so I guess an hour must have went by. Maybe I fell asleep for an hour. My alarm goes off, I hear my mom's alarm go off, so I'm like, fuck. Everything's fine and good, but I'm still obviously very drunk still, not even hungover, I was still drunk from drinking obviously all night. And so I was like, I don't have any gum, I don't have like anything, you know, for my breath. So I try to like race my mom to the bathroom because I know she goes to shower and then starts the coffee machine and then goes back to the shower. Like, she'll turn on the water, go start the coffee machine so that it's done by the time she gets out the shower. Well, while she went to go do the coffee thing, I went to the bathroom real quick, brushed my teeth, like I brushed my teeth twice and used mouthwash to try and get the alcohol smell away, and it was, for the most part. I don't know how the fuck I pulled it off, but when we were in the car, like fast forward a few, you know, like an hour, we're in the car, she's taking me to school, and She didn't ask me anything. She doesn't notice anything. And so I'm like super calm, cool, collected. But I was so certain that I was going to get in trouble. And this went on for years. She never caught me sneaking out. It wasn't until like maybe a Thanksgiving, I think like 3 years ago, I brought it up or I talked about it or I said something about it. And she was like, you never snuck out when you lived with me. And I was like, girl, that you know of. And that was just a funny like story time of my first time sneaking out. It was terrible and exciting all at the same time.